Hello and welcome to another edition of the LynnSanity podcast, a part of the Running Hook Knot podcast network. And boy, oh boy, before we get into this episode, which should be a heater, don't be afraid to subscribe, review, maybe write a comment. If you just text us your thoughts, or through Twitter or whatever the case might be, just, give your thoughts on, hey, the host might be, a sexy 5-star host. And in that case, you write a 5-star down.
No, I don't think so.
If you sit there and you're like, man, my co-host, my co-host is, is killing the game, give us a 5-star.
That's right.
If you think our network is doing well, give us a 5-star. Okay. It helps us. It boosts us. More people can listen to us. We can develop more of a community for you. And, it should be terrific. Very excited about this episode, focusing on the draft, what all will be coming in that. Bryce and I kind of do this mega preview, but we're trying to do it not super long for you. So we're excited, and let's just get into it. And Bryce, I feel like, for the two of us, we followed the college basketball season. We followed the playoffs. We followed the finals. We didn't do a wrap-up pod, but Alex and Dylan took care of that for us. This is our element, right? I mean, this is we're very excited about this as a podcast to be able to get into the draft. And, I'm excited to our conversation today, bro. So I think it'll be great.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is our two worlds are colliding, Caleb. I mean, it couldn't be more exciting. So I'm very excited to talk this with you. I am thrilled to give you guys some people to watch because we have it. We know.
Sure.
I'm very excited. Caleb.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't want to give you the cliche analysis. Okay, that's not what the LynnSanity brings. The LynnSanity is going to come in there. It's going to give you some fun. It's going to give you some uniqueness. We're not going to just sit here and bash the same three things. Moving forward, let's talk about the trade that happened today, Bryce. We want to talk trades.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the Memphis Grizzlies today finalized a trade, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, to send Jonas Valanciunas, the 17th pick in this draft, and the 51st pick in this draft, to the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for Steven Adams, a man named Eric in New Orleans,
Eric B.
Eric Bledsoe,
Eric B.
2021 picks, number 10, number 40, and a protected 2022 first-round pick, which is top 10 protected, to be specific, from the Lakers. And that just kind of leads into the first start, Bryce. I mean, we heard a lot, right? It was flirted around that Memphis might be looking to try to do something for the draft, looking to put themselves in better position. But I didn't expect Valanciunas to get dealt, Bryce. I didn't expect that. And then I kind of thought, I kind of think the Adams and Bledsoe part of it's weird, but maybe that's what they had to do to get the 10th pick. What did you think? And let's look at it from Memphis' side first.
Well, when I initially saw the trade, I wasn't the biggest fan. I really thought Jonas Valanciunas was a big part of Memphis' season. He kept them in a lot of games.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a walking double-double, period.
I agree. Yeah.
Even with some 2020 games. So, I mean, he is a very good big man in the league. And I think that's really going to help New Orleans, who this kind of worked out for them when we'll talk about them, but they needed that veteran presence. Now, the part that I do like for Memphis is moving up into the top 10 because, Caleb, they need a 3 guard badly. They need a 3 guard. Yep. And I hope that's where they're looking. They should be looking that way.
Yeah.
I just hope it works out for them. I hope the guy that they want is there. Take, a Franz Wagner or a Josh Giddey. I will be highly, highly upset if they do that. So I
don't
like
want him to take Giddey?
No, I don't.
Wow.
I don't.
What are you wanting them to do at 10th pick then? What are you hoping they do, I guess? Let's phrase it that way.
It appears that Scotty Barnes is no longer going to be in the top 10. He's going to be in the top 5.
Okay.
I would have loved to see that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Interesting.
I would like to see. I don't think Kuminga is going to drop. I'd like to see a Moses Moody or another guy that I will mention later
Ooh.
as a guy
I
that
think
might slip.
I think Moody would be terrific. I mean, I think what he would be able to give, it would be exactly what's needed.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing, like this team in general, right? They're looking for some shot creation. They're looking for that in some way, shape, or form. And I think if you're the Grizzlies, if you can get a Moody, if you can get a Bo Knight, if you could get a piece like that to be this off guard weapon for you, they should do it. And I think that's why they went and did it, Bryce. I think that's why they did it. But we're really not going to know until the draft, and that's going to be fun to watch. And obviously Memphis performed very well. I don't think they have anything to be ashamed of in their first round series. To be completely honest, I mean they played really hard, and they didn't. The expectations to get to the playoffs wasn't insane, but somehow they still did it. And then we'll move forward here with a couple of questions that we want to get into. We'll add some other questions, but here's some questions that the network sent to us. They were like, hey, here's an idea. Let's run with it. And so, Bryce, let's talk about a couple guys that you were really interested to talk about today. You were like, hey, let's talk about Kuminga and Green. Let's talk about them. How do you value them? What do you see? What do you not see? Well, let's start off with Kuminga. Because here's the thing, like with Kuminga, I think it's very important for people to understand. He is 18 years old. That is very important to understand. He was younger than you typically would normally be in the G League. He technically senior in high school. Bryce, this is not a player that was supposed to be a freshman in like a Cade Cunningham like class. This is a different guy. This is a project type of guy. But it's clear, and I think you would agree, it's clear that there's elite talent potential. There's an elite talent potential with this guy. But if you draft him, you realistically can't say I can guarantee a gigantic contribution immediately. That's the big kicker for him. But I think the development could be outstanding, Bryce. How do you value a guy like this who I think has legit star potential, but is going to have to grow in so many facets just because he's going to have to adjust so much so quickly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about these G League guys, Caleb, and let me start off with this before I get into Kuminga.
Sure.
Going into the G League is just as valuable as going to college. I mean, you might say more valuable than going to college. I mean, here are Kuminga's tangibles coming out, or his measurements coming out into this draft. He is 6'7". He is 220 pounds. His body is NBA ready. And that's what you get with working with these G League teams. This is what you get. Now, here's the thing about Kuminga. In his 1 year in the G League, he averaged 15.8 points a game. That's pretty good for the G League.
Very good. Very good.
But when you look at it, he only shot 39% from the field. Now, that doesn't tell the entire story. 2-point field goals, he shot 46%. 3-point shooting is where he shoots himself in the foot. He shoots a whopping 25% from three. This is where he's got to get better.
Wow.
This is where, but he can rebound and he can finish around the rim. He averaged seven rebounds a game in the G League in 13 games. He started 13 games.
Sure.
I think he is NBA ready. I think he can make an impact on the floor. He's not unplayable. I don't feel like he's unplayable. But obviously there's a little bit of a project on the offensive side of the ball, but obviously the guy can rebound. Yeah. And right now in the league, you value wings that can rebound and play defense. Now, would you like him to shoot? Yes. But if you have a guy that can at least play around the rim, I think you're in good shape. So that's how I kind of see Kuminga, right? I've seen him flex in the top 10 anywhere. I think bottom I saw was like 7. I think there were some mock drafts that saw he could drop to 13 to the Pacers. I don't buy that. I think he goes in the top 10, Caleb. I've seen him hovering around Golden State, which I think would be interesting.
Very, 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 very interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely a top 10 guy. Definitely a top 10 guy.
Yeah, I think he is too. And the reason I say that is when you have a guy like Kuminga, it's interesting reading these guides, seeing what they can bring. He is one of those players that has this, like, when I draft like top 5, top 6, Bryce, I am looking for high upside. That is clearly what he has. Now, for teams interested in him, that's just where I think it gets super interesting, because I'm hearing Golden State like you are. Okay. But then again, like, can Golden State really rely on him when they want to be a contender next year? Like, right. I almost think for Kuminga's sake, he needs to go to a team that's got a little more of a, hey, I can kind of develop myself and not feel the rush to just go out there and immediately play 20 minutes in big time basketball. Like, I'm seeing some things about him going to the Thunder. I like that. You'd be able to mix and match that. You'd be able to mix and match it. I'm not necessarily, the biggest Poku guy on the network. I don't think he's hard, but I'm not like, Alex. Alex loves Poku. I'm not
people
there.
Are holding out for him to be a good player. Now, I just don't know they're gonna get that.
Yeah, but if you're the Thunder and you think that he actually is, then you want to get somebody who can kind of mix and match that. I certainly think that Kuminga's got the ability to do that. I think I agree with you. His body is completely there. The rebounding is incredible to me. To be able to rebound 7 a game, but not even that, but just to be able to do it when physically you're just not as great as some of the guys that you're just not. In the G League, he was one of the quote lighter guys because he just wasn't as physically stronger or as in the sense of he's facing grown men, and the adjustment is still having to continue for him. But look, I think he's got a real chance to be a star. Like, I think Orlando is another great place for him, Bryce.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Orlando should not be in the business of trying to get guys who are immediately good, because at this point, like, a lot of your players, and it's fine, they're just going to need a couple years to really figure themselves out. And I don't see why right. And I just don't see why you wouldn't try to take another chance with Kuminga. And maybe you have a Kuminga-Isaac duo, which say what you want, but that sounds very intriguing to me. So if you can get that, I'm liking it. There's multiple good fits. It's just all going to matter on how people think he is physically. And but I'm in on this guy. I think he's really good. I think he's a player that you should, look to draft. But let's get into the other one, Jalen Green. Basically, for many people, he's the cover boy for the G League. He was the guy that kind of set this whole thing on fire. The potential of, do NBA guys go to the, do they see this as an opportunity to get to the big level, or is college the right level? Well, Jalen, I think, is going to be the first big example of, does it work or not? Clearly, the talent was there. His scoring is just, Bryce, it's ridiculous. He can score the ball at every level, and it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. When you are that great offensively at scoring the ball in particular, then I'm going to be able to take that and know that I got it right now. I know that, right? The rest of his game is completely, in progress. Because look, again, younger guy, still trying to figure himself out. But I think, here's my take, Bryce, and I'm very curious to see what you think about this. I am super curious.
Okay.
I think he has the highest upside, and I think, gun to my head, he could be the best player in this draft. Can you tell me that I'm wrong?
No, because I mean, obviously, Cade Cunningham is, one of those talents that you look at and you're just like, yeah, you're not going to pass that up. But Jalen
Right.
Green is kind of the same thing. Here's my only
Yes.
complaint with with Jalen Green, Caleb, is he's kind of one dimensional. He's a scorer, and that's about it. He'll grab you a couple rebounds, maybe dish out a couple assists, but he is a scorer. He's not. I wouldn't term him as a playmaker. He is a playmaker scorer. But yeah, I'd like to see him improve in those facets of the game. And I mean, it appears that he's going to go to Houston, where he will have plenty of opportunities to make plays in a destitute team that has very little. Well, I feel like they have enough to build on, but very little to look forward to. Christian Wood's gonna keep developing into a great player.
I agree.
Kevin Porter. We'll see what he's going to do in this follow-up season. He had the rough waters over there in Cleveland and was ousted, and ended up in Houston, where he had a string of games where he just absolutely just balled out. Period. Balled out. Right. But Caleb, you're right. He is an elite scorer. He can put the ball in the basket. He shoots 37% from three. 53% from 2-point range. So, I mean, he's efficient. He's an efficient scorer. Would you like to see his 3-point percentage go up? Yeah, I think with more reps and more work, I think it's going to get there and it'll be fine. That's not really a concern of mine. It's, can you be a playmaker? Can you be that guy that's going to carry the team, not just with your scoring?
Yeah.
That would be my only. That would be my only nitpick, but again, that's just kind of nitpicking. I think he can develop that with time.
Yeah, I think it, something I just saw DraftNet mention, right? I feel like they're gonna, if you put him with the Christian Wood, I think the passing would get better. I think his ability to trust bigs would get better. Like on Ignite, the team that he played for in the G League, I really wouldn't say there's a lot of bigs that you're sitting there like, man, I want to get the ball to him as they roll to the basket.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's not a shot. It's kind of the truth.
That's true.
And I think with Jalen, when you can have a Christian Wood type, if you try to figure out a way to, like a Tate is kind of this power forward for you, like, is that intriguing? I think Houston, for me, if Jalen goes there, I mean, it makes me really excited to kind of see what happens with Kevin and Jalen both. Like, those two are just insanely awesome offensive players.
Absolutely.
But you have two older guys making a crap ton of money, and like, what are you going to do about it? Like, I mean, I understand that like Gordon, is in potential trade talks, and we'll get into that later. But, John Wall definitely doesn't suck. I mean, sure, he's not where he's not where he was in Washington, right? But I mean, I don't think he sucks, right? I mean, am I right? Do you think he's just not there anymore? I mean, I still think he's very good. He's probably a starter in the league, and I don't want to jeopardize that and then put myself in a situation where I have to figure out how to keep Jalen and Kevin happy. I feel like those two guys you would want to have as your future. I mean, if Kevin Porter can get his act together on the court, which that's a big if, then if he can, I mean, offensively, that is about as decorated of offensive guards I mean, that you can find in the league. If I'm just talking offense specifically, and I'm looking at the potential that both of those guys have offensively, those guys are right up there at the top.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that'll get. I forgot about John Wall. I don't know why, but as long as he can stay healthy and maybe play some back-to-backs finally. Yeah, I think you got a good base to build on, especially in the guard department. I still think they still need a solid 3 guard and maybe a 4 to really solidify that team. But I think they have a good start. I think they can pick up some guys and Yeah, I just want to see Houston do well. The coach out there got
Sure.
a really bad shake in his first year.
I agree.
I mean, you could see the season broke him, and none of it was his fault. It wasn't
No.
his fault at all. So I just hope Houston can improve. They can really see some success this year.
And you know what I'm also going to do with Jalen Green that's going to help him out in the long run. Okay. I'm not going to compare him to Zach LaVine. I'm not going to do that
Yeah,
because that's
yeah,
what everybody's wanting to do. I'm not doing it. The fact I think Jalen will be I'm not saying that he wouldn't be able to score the ball like that he can't do some of that stuff, but I'm not going to go there with him. I will say I think he is a lock it in guy. Honestly, with how deep, if Green was probably even in last year's draft, I mean, there's an argument he could have been number one, right? He's that good.
Sure. Oh,
And,
yeah.
They're just so freaking like the fact that Cade is that good and Mobley is that good presents these problems of what do you do and how do you do it, which is great for NBA teams. But it stinks because in some ways you want to have the cash and, getting the number one pick gets you some cash. I'm not saying number 2 or number 3 doesn't, but, maybe that would have been something that Jalen would have liked. I think he'll be really good for them. I would like to see him on Houston as well. If I'm Houston, I'm just jumping in cannonballs. Like if I got a draft house, like I'm just jumping cannonballs into my pool because I just think at this point you're getting a number 1 pick and then but you are like you could be getting the best player in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Houston could get the best player in this draft. Like,
Absolutely.
I understand that we want to talk about Cade Cunningham's elite playmaking, defense, ready now body, whatever. I get it. And I'm not going to blow that like everybody else. I'm just saying, like, I think it's possible we sit here and say Jalen Green's the best player in this draft class. And I think it needs to be said. And I don't think people are saying it,
Sure.
which is on many people. Moving forward, let's talk trades. So if you are looking and let's focus more so on lottery-ish, but if you got some teams later in the draft, go ahead. Obviously we got the Memphis trade, right? That was exciting. Bryce, what are you seeing in this draft? If you were, a GM here, okay, and you are saying to yourself, man, maybe you're the Warriors who gets rumored in trades all the time. Maybe the Magic gets flirted in trades all the time. Maybe the Pacers who gets flirted all the time. What are you trying to do here in this draft and maybe just give me some scenarios that you like.
Well, a lot of these teams belong in the lottery for a reason.
I agree.
But there's a couple teams where I'm like, okay, either they belong, but they should trade out of it because I think some veteran presence would definitely help them. But then there's teams that just flat out just don't belong, period. And one of them is the Golden State Warriors, Caleb. They flat out don't belong in this lottery. And that's why they're trying to pair their 7th and 14th pick to get somebody like a Brad Beal, which I think would be awesome, Caleb. You have Clay coming off the injury, you have Brad Beal, and you have Steph Curry, which I think would just be amazing. They drafted Wiseman last year. I think they should. I honestly think they should hang on to him. I know his name's been floated in some trades. I know the Warriors have held discussions about trying to trade for Miles Turner, which I think Wiseman would have to be a part of that deal. If the Pacers part with Miles Turner, I just think he has to be. But I think that's unwise for Golden State. I think they should hang on to Wiseman. I really think he can be a great complement to Steph Curry, especially in the pick and roll game. And Wiseman has a bit of a mid-range as well. So I really think they should hold on to them. But I don't mind them packaging their 7th and 14th pick to get a veteran guard. I really have no issues with that. And I think Brad Beal would be fine. I think you slide Clay to the 3. You have Brad Beal at the 2. And you just have this offensive firepower that it puts them right back in contention, if I'm being completely honest with you, Caleb.
No, it would. I mean, there's a lot to like in that potential trade. Okay. I mean, I definitely think that Golden State wants to try to win now. They want to try to get Steph some more competitive runs in. I think they want to take a little less pressure off of Clay coming off the injury. I don't think they want to just rush him to
I think that's
what he
wise.
was. But I agree with you, Bryce. I really believe you're going to have to get rid of Wiseman to get Beal, but I mean, I'm telling you, like, there's a fair argument, Bryce, that if that's what it would take, then I'm going to pass, because I think we just jumped to conclusions too much with big men too fast.
Yeah.
We did it with Wiseman this season, for crying out loud. We did it with Wiseman, and then he got injured, and then it stopped. But you know what's going to happen again. Wiseman is more talented. I want to be clear with what I'm saying, Bryce. Wiseman is more talented than DeAndre Ayton was in college.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, like, he was. Like, and I think that's important. Like,
absolutely.
I'm not saying everybody wants to talk about DeAndre Ayton's trajectory and how Wiseman could have a similar trajectory. Now, that might be true, but I think that's unfair. Wiseman's overall talent is higher than DeAndre's was. When Wiseman, before Memphis decided to just, before Memphis NCAA decided to screw it up for him, okay? Like, Wiseman could, as a big man, as a potential big man prospect, he was at the upper echelon of our generation's big man prospects.
Yeah.
Like, the way we're talking about Evan Mobley, okay, the way we're talking about his amazing play in college, his switchable defense, the whole 9 yards, I guarantee that we would have done it with James Wiseman if James Wiseman played a whole season in college basketball. I guarantee it.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it. And so when you have a big that talented, when you got a guy like Draymond who can mentor him for a couple more seasons, and his ability to be a pick and roll partner, I'm not getting rid of that. Now, if I could use a 7 and the 14 and I can make a little move, maybe I trade one of them. Maybe I trade one of the picks and I get a rock solid player. I'm not buying the Siakam to the Warriors. I'm not buying it.
No, miss me on that.
I'm not buying it. I don't really like it for them. I think the Warriors could make the play for the veteran. I'm still trying to figure out who that is, what that is.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Beal thing either.
No, because here's the thing, Bryce. Like, I think Golden State, they want to get somebody. I understand that. But why in the world am I just going to let somebody rip me off with Andrew Wiggins 7 and the 14th? Like, I understand Andrew Wiggins did not play bad last year. He did not play bad last year, and that's important to remember. But that's not the player I want Wiseman if I'm the Washington Wizards. And that's really hard for me to give up if I'm the Warriors. But that could be the argument, is that you have to give up that to get the star. I'm not doing it. I like what the Warriors could potentially do in the draft. I really do. I think right now there's some draft stocks, where Bo Knight is potentially there for them as a creative off the bounce scar. I think he'd be fantastic.
He'd be fun.
In the 14th pick, I mean, we're looking at a lot of different pieces potentially. We're looking at, who knows here. I saw something about Mitchell. I don't know if I buy the smoke, but I saw it.
Buy that.
I think that the Warriors can even go with the guy that you and I, Bryce, have been skeptical on, but I'll be honest, I've been listening and I like this potential fit. I think Franz Wagner would be a terrific fit here. And I don't like Franz Wagner necessarily. I'm not your biggest Franz Wagner guy. But, there was a question from the network being like, hey, what is the deal? We are a little lower on Wagner than typically, everybody else is. People are looking at him like a top 10 pick. Where would you take him? If I'm the Warriors, I think he really fits my bill. Like, I do. Like, he's somebody that I think can play in meaningful minutes.
Just not at 7.
These other prospects.
Just not at 7. If he's there at 14, fine.
But you wouldn't do it at 7.
No, I wouldn't do it at 7. No, I wouldn't.
Would you pick? So you would pick Bo Knight at 7 if he was available?
I would.
Would you pick I'm trying to think of some other guys here that
If
that might be
Bunai or
what about Moody? Would you have done Moody at 7? Would you do
yes,
Moody at 7?
yes, I would.
Okay. Wow.
Absolutely, I would.
Okay. Wow. So so you don't think they go 7? You wouldn't go with the 7th pick on Wagner.
No,
Most people
absolutely
have
not.
Wagner, like 7 to 9-ish. Maybe the Kings look at him.
I can't get on board with Wagner, man. I can't do it.
Explain it. Let's explain a little bit. Why you and I are a little bit more skeptical on Wagner, but depending on the fit, like the Warriors fit, I kind of like it. But why are you low on Wagner? Help the listeners understand it.
Well, because think about this, right? If you're drafting him in the top 10, right, you're expecting him to play right away. Am I wrong?
No, I agree. Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to put Franz Wagner in big time minutes, okay, at the 3 or the 4. Okay. Think about who he has to go out there and try to guard.
I agree.
It's not happening. And I don't think he's,
I agree.
Look, and he's not good enough on offense right now.
No.
To make that much of an impact. Like, can he knock down shots? Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Is he going to drive? Is he going to take you off dribble to the basket? No. Is he going to hit step back jumpers on you? No, he's not.
No.
He's not. I'm sorry. He's just not.
I think his defensive versatility and his defense gets slightly overrated because of the teams he faced in the Big Ten and the names of the Big Ten. The Big Ten did not have anybody in the wings that you would legitimately consider as top end guys for him to defend.
No, look, he's the
first
first top 10 Big Ten prospect in this draft.
Right.
You have to go to, let's see, who's the next? Maybe Io.
Yeah, maybe Io.
Or maybe the next one.
You knew he wasn't guarding him. You knew Wagner wasn't guarding Io.
Right. The next one, seriously, it might be the next Big Ten guy taking another drop might be Joe Wieskamp.
It's a drop-off. It's a really big drop-off.
Massive.
The Big Ten in general, when you're looking at NBA prospects, is not pretty. And I just think that when you're talking about Wagner's versatile defense, it's like, okay, who are you guarding?
Yeah.
Like who are you guarding? It's you're going to look better when you're going to look better when you're guarding some of these athletes. You weren't in the Big 12 has got a lot of pieces. You weren't looking at the the Pac-12. You're not looking at some of these other schools and these other places where you could face high-level wings. Wagner, to me, is probably one of the safer picks, but the upside to me is tough to justify. Like, I feel like he is what he is. Like, I just think he is what he is. I don't really think that there is much upside to be had here.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
He's a fine player. And if am I drafting a fine player at 7? I don't know. I might want to go a little higher. I might want to go with the guy that's got more upside, because who knows if I'm going to get that upside pick again. So I think the Warriors have intrigue with Wagner, but look, I can definitely see the argument to, not drafting them there at 7. I understand it. Next up, Bryce, you had a couple things that you liked here from the Indiana Pacers. What do they do in the draft? Do they want to stand pat? Bryce, you've been very vocal with me off the record. You've been like, dude, I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired of all these trade rumors with the Pacers. I'm sick and tired of these draft rumors. I'm sick and tired of it. We should know what we're doing. Bryce, what should they be doing? What should the Pacers be doing?
Well, we should do one of two things. One, we stay pat at 13 because I believe this draft is deep. I believe you can get a really good player at 13. Right now, the buzz is that Davion Mitchell is going to fall. And I love me some Davion Mitchell, Caleb. And I know you do too. I know you love some Davion Mitchell.
I do.
I've heard there's been questions about his size. I don't buy that at all. That's stupid. Obviously, they don't watch college basketball like we do. It's embarrassing. God. That's embarrassing. Are you kidding me? Did you not watch him in the tournament? I know I did. On the biggest stage, Caleb. The stage doesn't get much bigger than that. I don't understand. If Davion Mitchell falls to 13, I will order myself a jersey. I'm broke.
Well,
you're destined
for You're destined for Wagner.
No, do not do that to me. Do not do that to me, Caleb Lynn. Don't do that to me. We have a new coach, Rick Carlisle. He knows what he wants. He knows what it takes to win a chip. He will set us in the right path and direction in this draft. Now, here's the other thing that I will accept. I will accept trading into the top 10. I don't know how we pull that off now. Because with the New Orleans-Memphis trade, I feel like New Orleans was realistic. I feel like that was a realistic trade.
It was very realistic.
The only other path that I see, Caleb, would be the Golden State route. And I don't know that I'm necessarily keen on making a trade because I think it has to be Miles Turner. They're not going to win anybody else.
I agree.
Unless somehow, some way, you convince somebody like Orlando to take a Malcolm Brogdon, right? But right. Fultz is coming back. Yeah. Could they use more help at the point guard position? Yeah, absolutely. I would accept a trade for Malcolm Brogdon. I would accept that. I would welcome that. In fact, please take Malcolm Brogdon. Please. I don't know that I want to move Miles Turner unless it's the right deal for both sides. But again, I don't feel like Pritchard has really screwed us on trades. I can't say in recent years he screwed us on trades. He even got TJ Leaf off the books for us. So, I mean, hey, I just we need
do you want to run through? Do you want to run through the draft picks of the Pacers, or do you want to just not?
No, I don't, Caleb. I really don't. No more
fine.
White guys.
Okay,
enough.
Oh God. Look, here's what I think. Here's what I think when I see the Pacers. Here's what I think. I really do think Davion's going to go to the Pacers. I really do. Like, it just seems to make a lot of sense.
Oh my gosh, dude, you are speaking my language, Caleb.
But I'm not going to speak your language when I tell you this, though. Okay.
Go ahead.
If you draft Davion Mitchell, I don't think you bring back McConnell.
Fine.
You don't care.
No. Actually, here's what I think.
Because you like McConnell a lot.
Well,
you and Zach both did.
I do. Okay. So here's what I think.
Okay.
I think it's time to let go of Aaron Holiday. I think it's time to set Little Birdie free.
Okay. But do you think that there is a market there?
Yes.
I like Aaron.
I do too.
I think
took a step back this year.
I really think the Pacers blew it.
Oh, come on. No.
I do. I do. I think they blew it. I think they blew it with him.
Unacceptable.
McMillan did it. McMillan did.
No.
He did.
I'll agree slightly with that. I'm not going all in on that.
He casted him off. He didn't trust him. He never did. He never tried.
Now,
way I see it for the Pacers is I just think that, if you draft Mitchell, I don't think you need McConnell. That's to me a similar type of guy.
I don't think we need Holiday.
Well, that's fine, but I think Mitchell and McConnell are the same player.
I think we move Holiday. If we could get a Brogdon Holiday package, right?
Okay, but
what about this? What if we traded it to Toronto? What if we get the number 4 pick? What if we get the number 4 pick? And we could get Jalen Suggs.
Well, I don't know if they'll give the 4th, Bryce.
Yeah, but Toronto's not really looking to blow it up or rebuild. If they know they're going to lose out on Lowry, give them Brogdon, pair him with Van Vliet. You have Holiday on the bench. Caleb, you don't hate that.
No, I really don't hate it. Can I spin it though?
Sure, go ahead.
One other thing. Go ahead. I think you have to do Brogdon, Holiday in the 13th to get the 4th.
I would do it.
I think
I would do it.
That would be
if you get Jalen Suggs.
I kind of like that. I like that a lot. I just don't know what Toronto Toronto's in a very weird space, and it depends on how committed they are to actually wanting to rebuild or actually wanting to win. If they want to win, I think that's a wicked deal for the Raptors. If they want to, but I think it's an outstanding deal for the Pacers, because not only does it take a big salary off your books, but it gives you a legit future star. The Pacers, with all due respect, Bryce, I feel like you kind of know where these guys are in the sense of overall talent.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can't. So if you can get a guy that's got a chance to get better, and not like just better, but like way better, then like that would be smart for the Pacers to buy on somebody like that. Now, I don't know where Toronto stands. There's nothing that we have, but look, if they were interested in trying to get a package like that, I honestly think it's really intriguing. I think Malcolm Brogdon, Aaron Holiday, the 13th pick, maybe another pick.
Alex Burr is going to be so angry with me when he listens to this.
No, I don't think he's going to be angry, but it just depends on the window. Like, it depends on the overall window, and I think that's the part that's going to be very interesting. Moving forward, let's discuss, some potential fits. Obviously, Davion Mitchell is a potential fit, but there's also some legit traction, despite what, if Mitchell was to say getting drafted a little higher, a lot of intrigue with Josh Giddey, a lot of intrigue in Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas worked out with the Pacers last week twice, I believe. Cam Thomas is liked by the Pacers, Bryce. Are you skeptical of Cam Thomas? Because here's what I think of Cam Thomas. I think he is a top. You could argue he's the best scorer in the draft. You could say Jalen Green and then Cam Thomas is number 2. Okay, he is that good of a scorer. The Pacers getting a player like that is not a bad idea. Because here's the thing: if you draft a guy like Cam Thomas, you're trading Jeremy Lamb. If you draft a guy like Cam Thomas, because then that's just, you're opening yourself up. You can maybe get the wing player, the guard that you want. Maybe the McConnell replacement is the package that you would give up with Lamb. Does that make sense? If you're the Pacers, I think that is not a horrible decision to go with Cam Thomas. I am not buying hey, let's go get a veteran player for this, because that doesn't make any sense. The Pacers haven't had this high of a pick in years. They do not want to blow it now, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, watching LSU, that three-headed monster that they had, it was Thomas, Watford, and Smart. Yes. Absolute ballers. I mean, I thought they could have went farther in the tournament. I really thought they had a chance. They just weren't able to get over that. But no, I like Cam Thomas. I like him a lot. I mean, pure scorer. He averaged 23 points a game for LSU. Yeah. Can his 3-ball get better? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if he comes in with a solid mid-range, I mean, he's well on his way.
Yeah, he is.
Again, I mean, we've talked about mid-range scoring on this podcast several times. It is the basis for being an elite scorer in the league. If you pair that with, if you improve a 3-point jump shot with a mid-range shot, you're going to be deadly. And I like it. I don't know that I like it at 13, if I'm being completely honest with you, Caleb.
I get it.
I don't know.
But here's my argument.
Okay.
Here's my argument. Okay.
And then I want to come back to Giddey.
Like, Cam Thomas goes for 23 a night in the SEC. 23 a night. Now, I understand the conference isn't insanely deep, but he goes for 23 a night. Clearly the guy in LSU. And he goes out and he does it consistently. He shoots it a lot, but he matches it. If you get him to drop his overall shot selection, you're probably going to get a better player. Not to mention that I think he would fit well in a Pacer-like style of play. What I mean by that is he's not a great defender. I'm looking at some stuff right now. He's not a great defender. There's not a lot of interest. But the Indiana Pacers have a track record of getting guys who don't defend to defend. That goes over multiple coaches. That does not just go over Nate McMillan. That does not just go over Bjorkgren. That is a historic. There's a lot to say about the way the Pacers get guys who can't defend to defend. So if you can get his level of play on the Pacers as a scorer, like I feel like that opens up a lot for you. But, let's get into Giddey then. What I like about Giddey is I think Giddey, Bryce, if you pick Giddey, I feel like you're unlocking the treasure chest to getting off of Brogdon. Giddey is the perfect, unselfish, elite level passer. Very good off the ball, doesn't have to demand the ball. Giddey, to me, would be the pick that you would make if you're trading Brogdon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it would signal to me. Oh, the picking Giddey. Oh, hey, we're going to trade Brogdon because this is a guy that fits naturally into my starting five. He can floor general. He can set your offense up. Right? I know you're not the biggest fan, but the playmaking's elite. And for the Pacers, like sometimes the playmaking is needed if all that you have is just a bunch of scorers and guys who score the ball. Like you and I have talked about it. There is one guy on the Pacers that can be good without the ball in their starting five, and that is Miles Turner. Other than that, every guy in the Pacers starting lineup needs to have the ball to be good. I think a Josh Giddey who could be a passer and a playmaker would benefit and expand the other guys' game. Now, what do you think on Giddey?
Well, he was starting to grow on me, Caleb, but when you put it that way, I think you're right. I mean, I think he does fit. And I mean, he's got a big body. I mean, he's 6'8" point guard.
I see. That's nasty. Pacers haven't had that. I don't even know when the Pacers have had a player like that.
Right. I mean, I know we threw out a trade package for Ben Simmons, but look, this is not me saying Josh Giddey is Ben Simmons. I'm not saying that.
No, I know you're not.
But what I'm saying is you have a big point guard that can pass the ball. And it could potentially be a triple-double threat as well. I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
Yes.
It's starting to grow on me, Caleb. I know I said no white guys, but this would probably be the only exception. I don't want to see Corey Kispert come across my screen. I don't want to see Franz Wagner come across my screen next to the Pacers. I don't want to see it. Period.
Okay. I think with Josh Giddey, with his level of IQ, would give the Pacers something they've been begging for years. High IQ offense running their system.
Oh, and that's what we need.
They haven't. Yeah, you this might be low, but I don't really care. Like in terms of high IQ level guy who could run your offense, the best that you've done maybe is Darren Collison.
That's what I was just thinking about.
Like Brogdon is Brogdon. Like here's the thing: Brogdon's a better player than Darren Collison. Okay, I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying running your offense. I'm saying, is he willing to do what it takes to get others involved, be efficient, but not be by himself? Like Josh Giddey has clearly suggested that I am an amazing passer. I throw dimes. I'm cool with it. And for the Pacers, that's the type of guy I would want. That's the type of player I need. I need guys that can get off the ball. Mm-hmm. I need guys who can do things that don't have to involve scoring.
Yeah.
And that to me is Josh Giddey. And I think that's a phenomenal player for them. Would love to see him and Sabonis. Would love to see him and Turner. Look, at one point, I wasn't a big Giddey guy either, Bryce. But for some teams, I really like Giddey. I really like Giddey for the Pacers if he was available. And I understand that that's a big if, but it's possible. The Grizzlies were rumored when they traded for the 10th pick to get Giddey. But maybe they don't. And if they don't, I think Indiana might be a nice slot for him in case that works out. Moving forward, is there a team in mind for you that is, you feel like is under the gun here? They have to nail it. If they don't nail it, they're screwed. Who is that team for you? And, don't like, I mean, I guess you can't go with you can go with higher pick or something, but like in terms of like a team that you feel like, man, they got to get this. Like, this would be a big step to their foundation. This could be a big step for their overall play. This would be a big step for organization. Who is that team for you in the sense of you feel like guy has the most pressure?
Well, for me, Caleb, and it's kind of a vengeance thing for me as well, but it's got to be Oklahoma City. It has to be. Are they just going to be organ donors for the contenders or the teams that are actually serious about building? I mean, seriously, how many draft picks are you going to acquire, and how many guys that you've drafted with those draft picks are you going to trade away?
Wow.
I mean, seriously.
Wow.
Moses Brown, Diallo. I mean, what?
Right.
How many more guys?
Yeah.
Are you going to trade SGA away soon? I mean, what do you do? Something. Put a team out there that's ready. That's going to make some noise this season.
I get it.
I mean, you had for a season, he turned you into a playoff team. I mean, come on.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, there is something
they start
there.
At 6. Sorry for picking a high picker, but they start at 6. They have 16. They have 35 and 36, and they have 55. They have a lot of draft picks in this draft. A very deep draft, Caleb. Very deep draft. And I don't want to see him end up like what Atlanta's about to go through when they want to start the cycle again and maybe get rid of Cam Reddish. That's foolish. Okay, either trade for some veteran depth, get guys in there that can play, or draft some of these guys that are going to be great right out of college. They need to nail this draft. Otherwise, Sam Presti's just dicking around in the NBA, and he's about to become a very cute GM. That's what he's about to become. He's going to be cute.
I didn't know that was coming today. Look, the way that I see, I get it. I get it. Like, the Thunder have a lot of pieces that are just straight potential. That's just what they are. They're all about what's the big boom. And I agree with you, Bryce. I think they need some steady Eddie prospects. I think they need some guys that could come in and be a guy that can walk in and be a big contributor. Like, for example, I think Moses Moody would be a great player for them. Moses Moody is one of the safest players. You know what you're getting as soon as he walks in the door, and he's a 10-year guy in the league. Draft him. I don't think I agree with you that getting guys that are quote unquote very big in terms of you have to develop them in the right way. They have so many players like that. I don't understand why you would get like 4 or 5 of them. Like, get some Moses Moody type. Honestly, like, be a Duarte type. Be a Chris Duarte type. Get a guy like that who's 23, who's older, who can play, who can handle, veteran. Heck, I mean, even get a Trey Murphy. Like, I'm looking at guys that are veteran-esque, who can get it done for them and not be as quote unquote reliant on potential. They are in a tough position. I think that's a very fair team, Bryce. You want to know what my team is? Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
I think the Charlotte Hornets really need to nail the 11th pick in this draft. Okay. I think the Charlotte Hornets need to nail this pick because there is a glaring need at one position in particular. Center, folks. Cody Zeller and Bismack Biyombo. That is like, I'm trying to think of the comparison. That is like just the epitome of trash. It's like whatever you think, like you're like if you're like you don't want to have like Cody Zeller at the year he was in Indiana. First couple years he's in Indiana, he was trendy as all get out. Everybody wanted him. Everybody loved him. Comparing it to the music world, I'm about to pull a big one.
Oh no!
You don't need another Fetty Wap. You really need a stable guy. You need somebody who's going to give you more than 5 months. The Hornets desperately need to get a prospect that lasts longer than 5 months or a year. I think Kai Jones is an intriguing guy for them because the glaring need. But then again, like, could I get Sengun? Is Sengun worth it? He might be worth it.
Well,
I think the Hornets need to nail it. They are so bad in the front court. Bismack Biyombo and Coney Zeller. Coney Zeller, I don't even think should be playing in normal rotation minutes.
Looks like he should sell insurance. I've told you that.
I mean, God, the Hornets have to fix the front court. They have.
So here was what Mitch Kupchak said today, GM of the Hornets. Okay, this is what he said, Caleb. Okay. He said that they will not be hunting for a center in the draft. They are going to draft the best player available. That is a direct quote. Now, here's who he's been linked to. Okay. I think that's a smokescreen. I think that's stupid. And Mitch Kupchak knows better. Kai Jones out of Texas will be drafted by the Charlotte Hornets at the 11 spot because they have no way to acquire Miles Turner, which they've been trying to do so in the past 2 years. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to settle for Kai Jones, which I don't think is bad. I really don't. I think they improve.
Fair.
Is it what they want? No, I think they're looking for a veteran center. I think maybe they should take a run at Jared Allen. Signing Jared Allen. Now, I've heard the Raptors have become very strong suitors for Jared Allen.
Yeah.
But I really like Jared Allen to the Hornets.
I mean, look, if they had the ability to do it, Holmes has been a rumor there for a long time.
I wouldn't hate that either.
No, I think the Hornets, all I know is the Hornets have to fix it, and they got to get somebody because their center position.
They play good pick and roll with LaMelo.
They need a center. And see, that's where Kai Jones comes into play. But Kai Jones is also very raw.
Absolutely.
So if you draft Kai Jones, which I'm not necessarily opposed to doing that, but if you draft him, think that's the right fit, then I guess they're gonna need something to boost their starting lineup because Holmes is not gonna start. Jones is not gonna start. So you're gonna have to get a guy, a Holmes-esque type, which has been a rumor for a long time. If that's the case, like, fine, I'm in. But that depends on Kupchak's overall thinking. I think Kai Jones would be fun there. That's probably the more predictable pick, but I think that's probably the right pick. But then go get a veteran and allow Kai to develop. Kai, I don't mean to be this guy, okay, Bryce? I don't mean to be this guy because he plays in the same college. Okay, so it's like he played at the same college and he came out like a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. But like, I think Kai Jones and Jackson Hayes could have very similar college basketball NBA careers.
Sure. Okay.
Like just these really ridiculous leap guys. But the thing about Kai is Kai can shoot.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage. There's so much uniqueness, but I think that they could have similar careers. LaMelo Ball with the high level athletic big man can get way better. Like way better. And Kai Jones does that probably better than anybody that you can pick in the draft that's still available at 11. I like that pick. I hope they nail it because I think the Hornets could really use a good draft pick. Moving forward, let's talk about some guys that, Alex Burr said, hey, I want you to group these guys for me. I'm trying to figure out who I want most. Now, Bryce, we have to rank them. You can't just sit there and give me the bull crap.
I'll give it to you. I got it. I got my
Corey
rankings
Kispert,
right here.
Davion Mitchell, Trey Murphy, Moses Moody, and Chris Duarte. Mm-hmm. My friend, you have to rank these guys 1 through 5.
Oh, I got it. And this is easy. This is easy for me. Number 1.
Okay.
Give me Davion Mitchell. Okay. Again, go watch him. Go watch the championship game. Go watch the Final Four game.
All right, you need to get a room.
I will get a room. Oh, please. Okay. Please order my Pacers jersey for me. Please.
Okay, let's book it at the Marriott. 7th floor.
All right. Number 2, give me Moses Moody. Again, you know what you're getting from him. Okay. You're going to get a guy that's super athletic, can finish around the rim, is a work in progress with the jump shot. Okay. 3, give me Chris Duarte. Okay. Knockdown shooter. He's going to play really hard for you. If you watched any Oregon during the NCAA tournament, you saw that. You saw it. Number 4, give me Trey Murphy. Okay. We know what Virginia guys can do. We even saw Ty Jerome play some good minutes for Oklahoma City. DeAndre Hunter, he's going to play big minutes for the Hawks once he gets healthy again. He had a lot of injury troubles this season. So, I mean, you know what you're going to get from Virginia guys. And then 5, give me Kispert. The only thing I saw Kispert
You
do
hate
was shoot
Kispert.
3s. I'm so done with this. This is stupid. The fact that he was even mentioned like in the top 50, it's so stupid. It's dumb. What is he bringing me? Tell me.
Okay. Okay. So I'll defend him. I'll defend him. So
go ahead.
No, I will. He's a smart role player. Smart. You're drafting him to get a guy who can eventually become a really high level movement shooting role player. That's what you're drafting him for.
Sure.
So can I give you an example?
Go ahead.
I give you an example of a
Go
team?
ahead.
So if I am a team like the Pelicans, I'm really hoping he falls. Because I think that when they don't have people like that, you need movement shooting if you're going to have the paint so concentrated, which is honestly what's going to happen. Like they have Zion, who's, let's just face the facts. He's in the paint. You almost have to be very similar to Giannis in that retrospect. That's kind of what you have to think of. He's just going to dominate. He's going to bully to the paint, right? So the paint's crowded. Ingram can kind of do it all, so I kind of exempt him. That's kind of the other side of it. Alexander Walker can shoot a little bit. You know, if the Pelicans want to do something else, like maybe Lewis is an intriguing fit. I like Lewis, but I'm not banking on Lewis being a high-level shooter, right?
Sure.
A lot of it's going to be playmaking off the dribble. So if I'm going to have playmaking in Lewis, Ingram, who's a great driver, Zion, who's a really good finisher, I want shooting. So if I want shooting, I need a guy who can not only do it from just from being open, but being able to move effectively in sets. I think Kispert could be a great player for them at 10. I'm not going to sit here and say he's like a 7th pick type guy. I'm not picking him 1 through 7. Okay. I'm not picking him like in the top 8, but depending on the team in the lottery, for me, New Orleans is a great example. I think their strategy is they feel like Kispert's going to fall. I really do. I think their guy is going to fall. And I think their guy is Corey Kispert. And I believe that they decided that we can get the guy that we want without having to take the 10th pick. And I think it's going to work. Because if you really think about it, Bryce, if you look at the draft and you say to yourself, okay, let's look at like let's look at like the guys that could be around there. Every guy that like you could look at from like 10 to 17 is completely wide the heck open. Right? Like Kai Jones, wide open. Garuba, wide open. Duarte, wide open. Moody, Thomas, Williams, Keon Johnson, Trey Murphy. Like none of these guys are locks in their draft slots right now. They could go all over the place. A guy like Kispert, I feel like he could fall right where the Pelicans want him. Mm-hmm. And I think you're picking him at 17. You're picking him at 17. If you pick him at 17, Bryce, that's a good pick. He's not a top 10 guy like everybody projected. I think he could slip to 17. And if he slips to 17, then that's steal. Because I think you need players like that. If you're Zion Williamson, that's a player that keeps you happy.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Just miss me on a top 15 pick with Corey Kispert. Fair. Come on, man.
That's fair. For me, I'll do my rankings. I actually have mine a little bit different than yours. So I'll go Moody number 1 with Mitchell number 2. I think Moody is the most steady guy in this draft and the safest guy for me. I think he's literally like, if you draft him, it's like, cool, I get a player for 10 years. Sure. Mitchell is really good. I have him number 2. Just because I think he's a good fit on high lottery teams, aka the Pelicans, like I just mentioned. I have Kispert at number 3. I have Duarte at number 4, and I have Murphy number 5. Most teams I'm taking Duarte and Murphy over Kispert, but given where I think they're going to go, I'll take Kispert, Duarte, Murphy. Moving forward, Let's take a look at some other guys that could be around there, and that could be Zaire Williams. Zaire Williams,
Hey.
a guy, that had a high level talent coming out of high school. Ends up going to Stanford, Bryce. Stanford sucked. They didn't play good. They just were not good.
Mm-hmm.
Zaire Williams still continues to find his talent.
Mm-hmm.
Is Zaire Williams a steal of the draft?
I think he absolutely could be. I mean, his numbers don't jump off the page at you. They really don't. I think he averaged like 10 points a game. Okay, yeah. You're like, why would I want a kid that averages 10 points a game? Because of his raw talent. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'8" wing. Yeah. His jump shot's only going to get better. I mean, he's a little bit of a project, but I mean, when you look at some of these other project guys in the NBA. You look at a guy like Mikal Bridges, you look at a guy like Cam Johnson. Both those guys are at Phoenix. Those guys were kind of taken. You're kind of like, who and why are you taking them? But they showed you, they balled out. And I would almost compare Zaire Williams more to a Cam Johnson more than anything. Just not as good of a shooter, of course, but as far as like body type goes, if you really develop that, you really got something. You got a really nice role player. If a team that's, is almost there to a contender, he can really flourish in year 2 or 3 and really help you down the line. So yeah, he absolutely could be the steal of the draft. I think there's a couple others that come to mind for me. And I think we're going to talk about some guys that are going to be taken later that I can fill you in on that you would be interested in, Caleb.
Sure. No, I think that Zaire Williams, he is a very talented player and a player that a lot of people had very high. And at first, like his talent coming out of high school was that he would be a walking top 5 pick. Well, here's the problem with that. When you're a player like Zaire, when you're a player like Williams, who couldn't really show it in the sense of he wasn't necessarily winning like he wanted. And he wasn't giving it. It did seem like he was kind of falling off. His shot is definitely not there. You would have to develop the shot and you would really have to tweak that. But I definitely think there's a real shot that he's a steal in this draft because, the talent level is clearly there. And, if I'm a team that's got a lower end pick with the chance to get a higher upside player, well, hello. I mean, I'm taking him, right? How many times can you get a player this talented at like 17 or 20? How many times, Bryce? Probably not that much. So right. I like that a lot for them. I'm excited to see what happens. I think Zaire Williams, I think can be a sleeper. But there's a lot of teams that I like. And then real quick for our last question, who's a guy that could be selected by a contender in the 20 to 31 range that can help one?
Ooh. I got a couple guys. Can I just run through them? I won't say much.
Yeah, sure. No, yeah.
All right, top of my list, Jalen Johnson from Duke. I really think that's a guy. He's a guy that's really being overlooked because Duke was so garbage this year in college basketball. So I think he's really getting overlooked. And then I know Caleb's guy. These are Caleb's guys right here. But the two guys coming out of Tennessee, Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer. I think those are two guys that can really help a team. And then the other guy that we get a room with, Caleb.
Okay.
Jared Butler got cleared. Nobody's really looking at him anymore.
Yeah.
I think he's another guy that can provide some stability on the floor for a team. So those are 4 guys that you should be on the lookout for and probably see some playing time in this season.
So I'll go with different guys than he did.
Did you have the same ones?
No, I'm just saying I'll go with different guys. So I've got Isaiah Jackson as a player that I really like.
Interesting.
As this kind of like, hey, like, it's a nice big in the late part of the draft, and there's a lot of guards in the late part of the draft, and if you hit it right, you could get arguably the second best big guy in this draft. Maybe you want to do that if you're a team later in the draft. That's intriguing to me. I think Bones Highland from VCU is a complete bucket getter.
I like that.
I think that he is a guy that by all means necessary contender should be craving. Definition of a high level microwave guy could come right off your bench and give you 15, 18. He would be able to play for you. He's got experience. He's going to give it to you on both ends. I like Bones. The other guy that I really like in that 24-30 range, I'm looking at DraftNet right now, looking at some other guys. I actually think a guy that I just for some reason don't understand why he's so underrated by so many, even though their team was so good this season. Like Joel Ayayi is a heck of a player.
I thought about that one.
And I don't understand. Like if you're Utah, which is what I'm seeing right now, DraftNet suggests the Utah gets Joel Ayayi. I am just gonna get a room with that pick because he is a player that he has winning all over him. He's winning all over him. If I'm a contender, I don't want Josh Christopher.
No.
I like Springer, but there's other guys around in that area that I want the winning. I don't want talent. I want winning. And at 21-30, that's you have to think differently when you get to those picks. Like I think Ayo would be a very smart pick for a contending team. High level scorer, smart player, isn't going to beat himself. Does that make any sense? Yep. He's not going to do that necessarily.
Yep.
Like Primo, a lot of people like him. Think he went to the draft too early.
I feel like people are overlooking Herb Jones out of Alabama.
I do too.
They're saying second round, which is fine, but go ahead and develop that kid and see what happens.
I agree because his defensive versatility is awesome.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like he's a very like Bryce. I think he's very Jayshawn Tate-esque.
Yeah,
like you just could come in and be like a 3-4, but then just defend every guy that you have on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
I think
he's being overlooked heavily.
I agree. If you look at the second round, I think JT Thor is interesting. I think Sharif Cooper is interesting. Those are two teammates from Auburn. I think those guys are good. I'm trying to think of anybody else in the second round that I think could be interesting. I think David Duke is really interesting. I think that Day'Ron Sharp is very interesting. Jeremiah Robinson Earl is obvious in terms of a second round steal, so I'm not going to really talk about him. Greg Brown, I think, is interesting as well. So if you're a second round team, I think that there's intrigue for you there. There's intrigue in the back half of the draft. Bryce, I think this is going to be a really fun thing to watch Thursday. What are teams going to do? Are there going to be trades? Is it going to be active? But right now, you and I are just going off what we know. That's just kind of how it is. If there's trades that happen, there's trades that happen. But we're going off of what we know. And I feel like we were able to give the analysis we were wanting, Bryce.
Absolutely. I can't wait for Thursday.
Yeah. And there's plenty of content coming along the way. Triple Option Podcast is actually working on some details for an episode. Check that out. Sturgill Simpson episodes on the Running Hook Podcast Network. And has been dropping for Divine Rhyme. Please check that out. Alex Burr, Dylan Hughes will be talking draft coverage, NBA, whole 9 yards as well. Zach back on Circle City Cinema Train, looking out to put more on his favorite movie series. There's plenty of things for you. And without further ado, thank you for listening to the LynnSanity Podcast.